Hey, everybody. It's
Hi.
Linda and Mel.
Hi.
Hi, honey. How are
I'm
you
with
doing?
I'm doing my favorite YouTube channel with my favorite person. So
How's the weather in Chicago?
the weather in Chicago since Father's Day, speaking of climate change, has been rainy. Um,
What?
we had a couple nice days, but uh, it's rained almost every day. The temperature yesterday was like 68, which is unheard of for this time of year. Today
What
it was
you
like
like?
72, and it's raining. So
Jesus.
and it's going to be raining all week. I'm hoping for some sunshine, but the garden's doing great because it's been so rainy. Everything is just taken off. But
Well, I'm very lucky. We're like 80s, high 80s.
oh, I'd
But
love that.
it could be in the hundreds. It was in the hundreds a week or two ago, but it's just stalemate. It's just 70s to 80s. In the morning, it's chilly.
Well, all I can say for the politicians who say climate change doesn't exist, I can tell them two words: step outside.
So, my friend, let's get down to brass knuckles.
Oh, might like that.
Tell me
I'll tell
about
my
what's
husband to
going
get the
on with
best
these poor
knuckles ready.
Democrats leaving Texas so they fear getting arrested.
Um, well, I applaud them because they've got a certain part of the anatomy to do it. And I've got the TV on, but I've got it turned down. So I'm looking over here watching the banners on TV. So I just heard that Governor Abbott says that the new voting, whatever, if it goes through, uh, will help Texas. Yeah, what? Keep the Republicans in?
Right.
Um, you know, he's going to try to vilify the Democrats for leaving and do all kinds of tricks. But my guides had showed me that people would stand up and push back the darkness. Ruth Bader Ginsburg showed me that. And that's what's going on. So thank goodness the Democrats are leaving because they're starting to say in Texas, enough is enough.
Right.
And I can tell you right now, people like Beto and a lot of those other folks in Texas are going to give Mr. Abbott a run for his money.
Right.
So
And all that stuff about voter fraud that right now, Giuliani and that crazy woman, they call her the Kraken, they're all before a judge having to explain themselves. And it's absolutely ridiculous, some of the things they're saying.
plus, my guides show me that a lot of those lawyers that filed those lawsuits for Trump about the election being rigged, this and that, my guides show me that they're going to be sanctioned. So,
Well,
I,
the Republican Party was writing to these attorneys saying, you know what, we think this is a load of crap and we don't think this is going to work. So they got a hold of some of those emails. But I want to say, and this is how what I felt. You talked about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but I definitely know, in a way, America's going to kind of come up from the ground. It's almost like people are going to be pissed. I don't care how you write it. I'll stand upside down in this corner till I get my turn to vote. Because they're
exactly.
requiring women, if your name is changed, you better show what your birth certificate, if you were, when your name got changed, your driver's license, it's all kinds of stuff. But I see people doing what they're requiring and getting it done.
Well, the most frightening thing is if they don't like it, they're trying to say to overturn it. And I think that's where the Supreme Court would step in and say, no, you can't do that. I know they
Well,
voted for some things in Arizona, but the Supreme Court, but it wasn't as sweeping as everybody thought it was. So I still
no,
think
and also the Supreme Court. I know there's some things they said, yeah, which it'll get switched over. But
it
I
could.
don't see the Supreme Court coming like with Arizona. I don't see them being able to approve it. It's basically illegal. It's against
That's
the
right.
Constitution.
I had lunch with my friend Beverly today. By the way, she thinks you hung the moon. She loves you. She
Oh, hi,
loves you.
Beverly.
Hi, Bev. Thanks for lunch. She's a really good psychic, by the way.
Oh,
She was a
cool.
student of mine years ago, and she's a flight attendant, but she's also a psychic. So
I
a
probably
guy
should.
got a
I
psychic.
should have her read me.
But anyway, we were having lunch today and we were talking about that. And I said, the way I see it, she goes, yeah, one drop box for the whole state of Texas. And I said, if anything, it's going to hurt the Republicans
That's what I
because
was feeling.
it's hurting them too. And I'm like you, Linda, if I had to stand on my head in the corner and spit BBs, I would vote. And you know what it's going to do is coalesce all these Dems to get out and vote. The only thing they might do is say, well, we're closing the line at a certain time. But if they do that, they're cutting their own throats for the Republicans too.
Yes, yes.
And you know what? I think some of the Republicans are getting angry about it.
And they did a high school graduation, I think, in Texas. There was like 500 something. 70% of them claimed to be Democrat. So you get these young kids out there to vote. I really think this is going to backfire. Here's the other reason why.
It's going to
Because
blow.
they said, no, you don't get your $300 check. Or
Right.
that lady without a GED, whatever her name is, Bobart or Buckwheat or whatever her name is.
Buckwheat.
She's over there. We're not a welfare state. She was raised on welfare.
Exactly.
And she's getting paid by the government.
Right.
But she's telling folks in places that really need the money, like Arkansas and different Kentucky. She's saying, "Oh no, y'all don't need Social Security or anything." No, they're messing with the wrong people. Although
Well,
there's some people that will jump the cliff. They
what
really
doesn't get
think
about
Trump is-
Kentucky. Kentucky now has a Democratic governor, which is really
yeah.
strange for a red state. But I think that this governor in Kentucky is going to be instrumental in overthrowing Mitch McConnell too.
Yeah.
So goodbye, Mitch.
I mean, there's nobody's getting the vaccine. Don't get that vaccine. Everybody
you know
at
what?
Fox News had it. Trump had it. His wife had it.
Most of the people screaming about not getting the vaccine have gotten the vaccine.
Yeah.
You know, and it's sad that, you know, it kind of plays on ignorance, fear, and anger. And, you know, a lot of these people in the southern states who aren't as well educated and that sort of stuff, that are Trumplicans, the sad part is many of them are going to die because they're not getting the vaccine. And
Those are the voters. The voters for the Republicans are dying as we speak.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, human life is a human life. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, whatever. But, you know, those people who are screaming anti-vaccination, like Tucker Carlson and, you know, even Marjorie Taylor Greene and all those people, you know, for those Trumplicans in the South who are afraid to get vaccinated because of that rhetoric, those people, those politicians like Marjorie Taylor Greene, all the rest of them who are saying the vaccine's bad, they can't tell you to get it, they should be held for murder.
They should. They should.
You know, I wouldn't want their karma at all.
No.
You know, I had COVID. Trust me, it's not a picnic in the park.
No.
And so I'm glad I got the vaccine. And this Delta variant is more, it's more
Aggressive.
contagious and more
Yeah.
deadly. So, and it's really peaking in the southern states.
There was a guy that posted on Twitter, a 41-year-old ER nurse who was dead set against this vaccine, telling everybody, you know, don't get it, don't get it. She's dead now, 41 years old.
Well, and especially all the people who didn't want to wear masks. Okay. And it's the same thing. It's craziness. It's like,
Well, you had the Orange Crush maker say, you know, it's a Democratic hoax. And, you know, Biden went in there. What did he say? I'm going to get you all a check in the mail and I'm going to get you a vaccine. And he
Right.
came through what he promised.
Yeah.
By the way, any day now, Trump's going to come through with his health care.
With the what?
Any day now, Trump's going to come through with his health care plan.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to give you the best health care plan ever.
We're still waiting.
And that's why McCain said no, because they had nothing else to put in place for all those poor people.
And as we speak, the state of Missouri is, you know, even though the voters wanted it on the referendum, the state of Missouri said, we don't care what the voters want. We're not going to expand Medicaid. We're not going to expand Medicaid coverage. Oh, so is that
that's going to work against them?
Huh? Oh,
That's going to
absolutely.
work against them.
Totally. So that's part of Trump's health care is to take away Medicaid benefits.
Oh yeah, and you don't need that extra unemployment check, and you don't need this, and you don't need your welfare check, and you don't need your Social Security. Oh heck yeah. And did you hear that Social Security guy that Biden fired went out kicking and screaming?
Oh yeah. I took perverse pleasure in seeing that guy go.
I know, but they're really going to change up Social Security and everything. We're not going to live fat with Social Security, but they're going to change it up.
Right. Um, and by the way, I still see Social Security hanging around everybody, so not to worry. um, what about Caitlyn at the CPAC conference? Caitlyn Jenner,
Oh, I
and
can't even
she's
stand it.
against transgendered, and she's a Republican. But yeah, did you hear that somebody heckled her?
What
Uh,
would they say?
they didn't really say, but it was like not very nice against transgendered people.
Oh,
And I'm like, nobody should make horrible comments about
no.
anybody's sexuality or what they have, who they choose to be in love with, or whatever sex they
It's
choose.
hard enough to be transgender, but to be a Republican transgender.
Oh my God, that's an oxymoron.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, people are asking me if she's going to win in California. She's got about as much chance as winning as getting hit by a bus on the planet Venus in the middle of a snowstorm.
Gavin Newsom's going to take it again.
Yep, he is. He ain't going nowhere. and I'm glad too that he's going to get it.
He's going to win again. Yeah, there's some pompous things about him,
I
but
know.
he's not nearly as bad. Did you hear that guy that walked around with a bear? He's in trouble for drugging that bear.
Oh my goodness.
What an idiot.
It just gets crazier and
I
crazier.
just see almost kind of an embarrassing loss for the person you're just talking about. Can't even
Caitlyn?
think of her name.
Caitlyn?
Caitlyn. I feel like it's an embarrassing loss, and I feel there's a lot of hard feelings because the family's not coming out.
Well, I'm just getting an intuitive hit that even if Caitlyn loses, she won't give up. But the very party that she's supporting, I mean, I think she'll still try some kind of political office for something. But the very party she's supporting is going to continue to, unfortunately, make fun of her.
Yeah.
And so, that's her. That's karmic to her, I think. Not
Yeah.
for being
And her
transgender.
family's not going to come out and say vote for. I don't see it at all. I see the Kardashians doing their thing and not interested.
Oh, absolutely. Um, by the way, I had a dream of Abraham Lincoln.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Ooh, details.
And we all know that the Republican Party wasn't what it is now, is not what it was in Lincoln's day. The Republicans in are more like what the Democrats are now. And he showed me a war scene, and it almost felt like a civil war, but it was modern. And then I was just watching, and I was very upset. And I said, "Can this is this real?" I almost felt like Scrooge visiting all the different places. And then it dawned on me, what he showed me, it was a warning that if we don't start speaking up, the Dems, and start taking action against all this fascism stuff, then we could very well have a civil war. But he said that it could be prevented. So I think there is a civil
war. It couldn't really be a civil war, because if you go up against the United States, we have jets and tanks, and
well,
you can't
no,
really go against the United States.
I'm just talking about a civil war divided, the ultra, the Trumplicans against, the Dems and all of that.
So something like January 6th.
Exactly.
Now, see, if something like January 6th happened again, I do see bullets being shot.
Exactly. And there will be more violence, but
But my prediction about those cells is coming true. Remember I said cells that were going to do horrible things, and some of them were because of housekeeping. Housekeeping noticed the guns.
That's right. And I saw him crying in the dream. And so just
how old was he when you saw him?
He looked like the pictures you see before he died.
Wow.
But I know what the tears meant. I kind of thought about it when I woke up, because dreams can be symbolic. And I think he's crying when about what the Republican Party has come to, and when they use his name to say they're trying to preserve democracy. He was very angry and hurt. But, and then I thought about it, and then it dawned on me, my guide showed me too, that we've got to be careful because these people are trying to create almost, this dictatorial autocracy,
Yeah,
Trumplicans. Um, and it's pretty obvious that they don't care about the democracy. They just want chaos and anarchy so they can hold on to power at all cost.
exactly. Exactly.
And according to my dream, it'll get worse with them, but they will not win.
Okay.
I'm talking about the Trumplicans and all of that.
I see it's going to get worse. I see because, they can't win unless they cheat.
Right,
They're
exactly.
totally afraid that black votes do matter.
And they
And
will cheat, you know that.
this blatant, and a lot of stuff is coming up before 2022.
Oh,
There's even
absolutely.
more stuff coming up.
Oh, I think my guides are telling me that Ivanka will flip on Donald.
I saw that a long time ago.
Yeah, I know.
I saw that. And you know what else I got a hit the other day, and I told everybody on my show. I was kind of flashing on something, and I thought, gee, how come Arizona's still holding on to those votes? And my guy said, because Biden won.
Exactly.
They've done the thing, and it's still Biden.
They,
So let's take these with us and see if we can change it. Nothing they do is going to work. Don't you think if they redid this and Trump showed a landslide, they'd be all over the news? We don't know what you guys did, but we've got pure and simple, he won. Oh, don't you think they'd be yelling that, screaming that from the rooftops?
oh, of course.
No, they still came up with Biden winning. Of course, they're not going to announce that.
I'm still working on it. They fed the ballots to the chicken and then burnt the chickens. Why don't you just burn the ballots? Why feed them to chickens? I see chickens and I get traumatized now. They don't say chicken to me.
Oh, it's just absolutely ridiculous.
It's just what common sense has gone. But okay, so people are asking about Charlottesville, that they removed those Confederate statues in Virginia, Stonewall Jackson, Robert E. Lee, and then there's going to be another one removed. And they ask if that'll incite any violence.
They're putting them in some sort of museums, right?
Yeah, I think
they're
so.
not destroying them.
No, but I don't necessarily see that leading to violence at all.
I don't either. It was sort of quiet when it happened, if you'll notice.
Well, I'm sure they got something up their sleeve, the Trumplicans. But, it's funny, when my husband and I were in Budapest in Hungary, they used to be communists, but they removed all those statues and they put them way outside somewhere so nobody could see them. I mean, you could still go see them, but it wasn't honoring those people. It was just saying it's part of our history. And I think that's what'll happen with these statues.
They're going to be in fact, President Biden said these statues don't deserve to be in a pub. If you want to put it like in a Confederate museum,
right? And that's okay with me.
Yeah, but what do you think about Cuba?
Well, I had predicted for years that I would see a Cuba Libre. And translated, that means not the drink, which is rum and Coca-Cola. A Cuba Libre means a free Cuba. And I had said that after Castro would die for a while, there might be, somebody in his family or something who's a president, but that would change because I saw people wanting to overthrow that. And I also said that, I think American hotels were kind of already thinking about getting beachfront property in Havana. So, they'll try to squell those protesters, but I saw the Cubans carrying signs, United States flags, and it said, Biden, help us.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's never since 1960 something.
Never.
They've never seen this. And the other thing is people are dying. Right. They have no vaccine.
Right.
But the government's blaming the United States because of sanctions.
And it's not going to go away. I mean, the protest in Cuba, I see more and more of that. In fact, they were turning over police cars and things like that. Now, I don't like violence of any kind.
Right.
But I do think these protesters will continue. And at some point, and we'll probably see it in our lifetime, I'm looking at a democratic Cuba.
Good.
So.
And you know what it is that these people are so overwhelmed and sad. They got nothing to lose. What do they have to lose?
That's right.
What do you think about Haiti, whoever killed that president?
Well, I heard some people say it was DEA, and my guy said absolutely not, and they had nothing to do with it. But of course, he was not all that a piece of toast either, because he was supposed to be he was elected out of office and refused to leave office, and
Yeah.
but I see a
But I mean, you still
lot of
don't want a president assassinated. That's not how we do things.
no, that's
But a
not.
couple of Americans are involved with it. And somebody today, I didn't catch it all, but they said somebody who was in charge of this was in debt up their yin yang, 400 something $1,000 worth of debt. They want to know where he got the money to pay these insurgents.
Right. Well, I'm sure that there were
They're going to follow the money.
exactly. I'm sure there were business people paying for it, but no, I don't. I disagree with assassination. Absolutely, that's just not the way to do things. But I see that in Haiti, people are going to be protesting more, and unfortunately, there it's going to turn violent. I hope not. But,
I heard Haiti can be very sad. It's got a lot of poverty.
well, it's one of the poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere. So I just hope that ultimately they'll be democratic, but it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
And while we're on the subject, Puerto Rico, I've been saying for a long time that I see Puerto Rico becoming a state at some
Yes.
point, and we'll see it in
I
our
saw that
life.
a while ago. It could even be in 2024, when we get another Democrat, it could be Biden again in 2024. I see that on the table.
I see 2 or 3 states like it could be Puerto Rico, Guam, and I'm almost thinking U.S. Virgin Islands.
Okay. Washington, D.C.
Exactly. In Washington, D.C. That's before. And speaking of the Virgin Islands, what about, oh, this was so exciting because I am absolutely a science geek.
Okay.
What about Richard Branson with his Virgin Galactic that took people into space? That is so neat. And
well, I really think it's, this is my personal opinion. I mean, he made his money. He gives away a lot of money too. But I just think this isn't the time to have something where people pay $500,000 for a seat just to show us lowlifes. We'll never get there.
Well, I understand that they said they're going to get the price down to 250,000 for a seat.
That makes it way better.
So I said, Linda, you and I should go.
I'd never go. You'd never catch me in space ever.
I told my husband, I said, well, if it was like $5,000, I said, would you do it? He goes, yeah, the nanosecond. I said, me too. But for $250,000, I'd be off on an island somewhere.
No. But also, who's going next? Is it Bezos? Or?
Bezos. But his technology is completely different. I mean,
yeah, I get a bad feeling. I don't know if it's Bezos or the Tesla guy. I feel some sort of accident in space or something happening in space.
You know what? I felt the same thing with this Bezos thing or something, because it's a rocket booster and it's, the technology I think that Branson used was a little bit different. It was more like an airplane, but they did go for a while. But I'm getting a premonition too of something like an accident.
I feel like, in fact, we're kind of takes everybody back to square one.
Exactly. So, there goes our right.
Yeah, but the thing is, people just, we got to get people a good wage. People are struggling. It's just, to me, I mean, it's okay to have money, and you can't blame people for having money, but that is just beyond billionaires.
I know.
Who could pay taxes don't. What's up with that?
Well, that's going to change too at some point. The filthy rich like that are going to start having to pay their fair share of taxes, because the working class is already starting to say we're tired of carrying the brunt of everything.
Exactly.
And so,
and the other thing is, Clinton raised the rates on the rich, and yes, did he clean it up and got us out of debt. We are in $1 trillion debt.
When Clinton left office, we had a zero deficit.
Yep.
And then Bush took over, and we were right back
up in the
you know what again.
Yeah.
So, I just like science, though. I thought it was kind of neat.
I know my son loves science too.
Yeah, I'm a science geek.
Yeah,
So, but I do agree that a society has to take care of its people.
right.
And,
No, we
and
can't blame Virgin, what's his name?
no,
Because he's not from this country. He's from the
he's
UK,
from
right?
England, I think, but he's
Yeah.
got Virgin everything. I think Virgin Atlantic,
Oh,
Virgin.
listen, I went to Edinburgh and I took a Virgin Atlantic flight from San Francisco, and it was $400 round trip. I was in coach.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you, that flight was so fantastic. The food was fantastic. It's one of the best flights I ever had. And I was in coach.
People rave about Virgin Atlantic. It's a great airline. My husband works in travel, and it is a great airline.
It costs more, but it's worth it.
Who cares? I'd pay more. But I
Yeah.
guess Richard Branson owns a lot of Virgins, huh?
Oh, I love how he loves his family.
Oh, he does. Yeah, he's
He
very
loves his family. He loves his wife. He loves his kids. All the grandkids were there.
And I like the
And
fact that
you can tell he loves them. He's holding those kids. You never saw Trump do that.
no, Trump doesn't even know how to. Trump couldn't. Never mind. I was going to say something. I can't say it.
Right.
Trump couldn't hold up a Viagra bottle.
Oh, Jesus. So anyway, I like the way he loves his family. I really like that.
And what about, speaking of Cheeto Head, how the Trump organization is distancing themselves from Weaselberg, as I call him?
Oh, yes, they've taken him off committees, and yeah.
And people are asking if Weaselberg is going to flip, and I still think he's going to flip at some point.
I think kind of a little day late and a dollar short, but he will.
He will flip, and Ivanka will too.
Because remember, when he flips, they don't have to pay for his, they just like with Cohen, they paid for Cohen's attorneys. And the minute Cohen flipped, he has to come up with his own money.
Well,
and Trump admitted it to all his people. Oh, well, yeah, so a car, apartment, educate. Yeah, so, what's the big deal?
Yeah, right. There's one of my lawyer friends said there's a saying in law school that you don't say too much when you're in court because you can tell on yourself. Well, Trump keeps telling on himself in public, and the more he says, the more he incriminates himself.
You know that gentleman that stood in line for 6 hours, I guess he was on parole and didn't realize he was still on parole or something. And he voted. Do you remember that? He was a big deal because he stood in line. He's a tall black man.
Right.
Beautiful face, you can tell he's a good guy. Whatever happened to him in prison, he worked 3 jobs, he's trying to make something of himself. They arrested him, $100,000 bail. But that Republican that went out, put a pair of sunglasses, tried to pretend like he was the son, and that other Republican that voted with his dead mother, they were both arrested and got a slap on the wrist.
That's my point. Yeah, good. I wonder if a white person had done that, what would have happened to them?
Oh, this poor guy. But they did a GoFundMe. They paid his bail. I see people coming in and really working on behalf of this guy. I see this guy doing okay. So I wanted everybody to know that I see people coming in and saying, no, and bringing up the fact that these people who did the same thing got a slap on the wrist.
Well, now that you brought it up, I see this guy getting out of it.
That's what I'm feeling like. He's going to be okay.
And I hope it goes to the Supreme Court.
Oh my God.
Because and it could go that high, but he's going to be free. So good.
Awesome.
What about when Trump said that these people were full of love? I'm like, that's scary.
It was a love fest. There was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, where's Pence? We're going to hang him.
I hope he's watching the same. I don't know if he's watching the same videos.
No, well, somebody showed a car with "I love Trump" and stickers and "Blue Lives Matter." I said, yeah, Blue Lives Matter unless you want to hang Pence.
Or unless you want to kill a police officer during the insurrection.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Blue lives matter unless they get in your way when you're trying to commit murder.
It's the hypocrisy.
You know what? Now, honest to God, and I just still kind of get furious about this. If they had gotten in, but by the grace of God go I, because they really would have hurt some people.
Oh yeah.
That is no joke.
They of course they did. And that's what makes me so angry as well. And then when you have politicians saying, well, it was just like people going out, sightseeing.
No, they would have killed Nancy Pelosi.
They would have killed a lot of them if they could have gotten in.
They
It would have
would
been
have
horrible.
ripped them to shreds on live TV.
And that's frightening.
And
Uh,
then what will Orange Crush have to say?
oh, he would have
Oh, they were very fine people.
he would have found a way out of it. Like he weasels, he would have created another conspiracy theory to divert, in other words, to play on,
Oh,
you
well,
know,
they were saying those were the Black Lives Matter and all these other people dressed as Republicans.
or Antifa that was doing
Yeah.
it in the name of, please. But I see some stiff jail sentences for some of those people that were in that insurrection, as,
Right.
as it should be. I mean, I
Right.
believe in people's right to protest, but you don't have the right to hurt other people and tear up things,
Exactly. Exactly.
you know? But Trump plays on people's anger, fear, and ignorance. But anyway, so what about Biden? He's going to start doing stuff on voting rights. He's going to start speaking.
Biden, I
Yep.
know, because people need the United States government to be more forceful. And I got to tell you, Merrick Garland is working. I don't want you to lose faith on Merrick Garland. It's like so much is on him, but he's trying so bad to be right that he's creating wrong. He's got to get in there and it's got to put up his sleeves. And I'm telling you, I really feel that there's some Republicans working still in the DOJ, and they're slowly but surely filtering them out.
Oh, absolutely. The vision I get from my guys with Merrick Garland is if you'd go to like the public library and you take all the books and all the papers and put them in a parking lot on a rainy, windy day, and they're going everywhere. And somebody says, organize all that. It's like, oh my God, where do I start?
Exactly.
And that's exactly how it is with Merrick Garland. It's like, where do you start?
And I still see DeJoy going. I don't want people to lose faith.
Oh, the joy's going.
He's going.
People are still questioning, will Trump be indicted? And the answer is yes.
Right. And I think part of the reason DeJoy's going is something else is coming up on him. Because they got those three guys in there, and one guy I think still is in favor of him. But there's something legally coming up where they're going to say to DeJoy, you got to go.
I see him gone. I see Bill Barr.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Barr's in deep
His
doo-doo.
cards were always horrible.
Mitch
John
McConnell,
Jr., it's horrible.
Mitch McConnell, his cards ain't looking too great. His wife, a lot of those people, some of them that Trump pardoned, they're not out of the hot water yet because they're going to find other crap they pulled.
Oh, wait till they follow the Yellow Brick Road with those PPEs. They even gave that rapper that was married to the Kardashian a PPE loan for millions.
Isn't that crazy?
They gave Jared, they gave that speaker, the blonde, they gave her family. I mean, I know people who had businesses that were struggling and couldn't get the loan, but in the meantime, these people who have money got the loan.
I couldn't,
Really?
So that's okay. I said, let somebody else have it who really needs it. But
right.
But yeah, it was crazy who got those loans and who didn't, the way they handled them out. That was terrible.
I know. It was a
People
shame.
are asking, do we see another relief package? I do see another relief package coming.
Oh, you do? Okay, because I wasn't seeing that right away, for sure.
It might not be as big as the other ones were, but I do see another relief package.
Well, you know how Biden works. He works right before the elections. Get the Democrats in here so we can give you your check.
Exactly.
And we're gonna get in there and get your bridges and your water and your school, the children, and all this stuff.
And that infrastructure thing's going to ultimately pass too.
I saw it, and Roosevelt, Roosevelt told me it was going to happen. He came to me years ago. He said the new president is going to do the New Deal, just like I did.
I'm going to see if I can hook into Abe Lincoln and see what he's got to say about it.
Okay, 1 second. Okay. You were going to check on what?
Oh, I was going to talk to Abraham Lincoln. I was kind of being facetious, but But we just took a little break, everybody. Now we're back. But I did, though, on a little break, hook into RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, because it seems like she comes to me a lot. And I asked about the voting rights bill, if it was really done.
Yeah.
And she showed me a piece of paper that said voting rights. And then there was a stamp that said pass. So I take that to mean at some point it's going to be, I don't know, reintroduced to the House and go to the Senate. And at some point, the voting rights bill will be passed.
Okay.
But it might be after the midterms.
Okay.
And people are asking again about the midterms, if the Democrats will hold on to the House and the Senate. And I say yes.
I say yes too, and I see McConnell being very upset.
Well,
That might be when he exits stage left, because even with all that cheating, they still lost. That's why Trump was shocked,
oh yeah,
I had Russia working for me. What are you talking? How did I lose?
exactly. But I see that voting rights, according to that little vision I got. So, and you're right about infrastructure. I think the second part of it will go through. So yay.
Right, right. But
Because
the other thing is that I heard somebody's writing a book that I'm going to have to get on audio, that apparently just losing against Biden was just beyond more than he could take. He refused to go there.
Well, I mean, Trump is always going to create conspiracy theories and this and that. And people think he's just going to go away. And he's going to keep opening his big mouth until, he's indicted. And even after that, but at some, people are already, except for the diehard Trumplicans, but people are already starting to open their eyes to his BS.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this country, according to what I had in my dream with Abe, and I also think the thing that he was trying to show me is, in a way, we're kind of going through a bloodless civil war with what's happening on with
Right.
the polarization. But he assures me that the other side, the Trumplicans, will not win.
Okay.
So, yay.
Yay, definitely.
The other thing, living in a suburb of Chicago, and I love it here. Well, the winters are a little brutal. But the gun violence here, I mean, I'm not afraid to go in the city. And, I read for a lot of police officers, so I hear it from both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
They've got to do something about gun violence in our city.
Okay.
It's getting so out of hand.
Yes.
And so
I
people
know
are,
in Oakland, that's the hospital I used to work at.
I'm sorry.
They said in Oakland, there was so many shootings that July 4th, they couldn't even keep hold of it.
Exactly. So people are asking not only about will there be an end to gun violence here in Chicago, but also across the country. And unfortunately, there will always be gun violence, but I do see a lot of legislation passed at some point, a lot sooner than later, about not being able to own assault weapons and
Right.
universal background checks and all of that stuff. And at some point, I see a crackdown coming in the city of Chicago against gangs and all of that, and a lot of people who commit gun violence. So ultimately, it will get better, folks, here in Chicago.
Thank you.
So,
I wanted to tell you that I just got a flag from CNN, and they've just announced that the 2 Americans that were involved with this were also informants for the DEA and the FBI.
from involved in
Drugs.
in what?
They were drug informants for the DEA and the FBI.
I'm sorry, involved in what?
The 2 American men that were involved with the assassination of the president.
Oh, I got you. That they were informants, but they didn't have anything to do with the DEA, right?
No, they did, but
Oh,
this
did.
wasn't a DEA event.
No, it
Remember how
wasn't.
they said DEA? They did that because they were informants for the DEA and the FBI, but the FBI and the DEA had nothing to do with this.
Exactly. All right, good.
Oh,
Because I didn't think they did.
Well, they're following it. I'll tell you, they'll figure it out. And they were asking for the United States to send troops, and Biden said no, thank you.
Well, we'll see what happens in Haiti. Unfortunately, I'm seeing it get a lot worse there.
Me too.
That might be a civil war. I mean, it's kind of on the brink now.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but a lot of people in those countries are getting tired of the
Right, like in
authoritarian
Cuba,
dictator.
it's like enough. What do we got to lose? Let's give our lives towards the cause.
It's happening in Cuba. It's happening in Haiti. It's happening in Belarus. At some point, it'll happen in Russia.
It has been happening with Russia. There was hundreds of thousands for our guy Navalny.
Well, my guide showed me more is going to happen in Russia, and at some point, Putin will be gone as well. And I
Yeah.
can't think of the guy's name in Belarus, but he'll be gone. Uh, so it'll take a while, but it'll happen. So
So,
I
my
just
friend, anything for the upcoming week? Do you see any court thing, anything with New York, Manhattan? You seen anything turn?
you mean with Trump?
Yeah, with Trump or any of his
I
people
think within the next week or two, a lot more indictments are going to be handed down.
to his
Uh,
family?
yes, we're going to start seeing the second round of indictments.
Okay.
And I think they're kind of holding off on the Trump stuff. But, people think, well, unless Weaselberg flips or this one flips, don't kid yourself. They got things on Trump. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, that's what I feel. That's what I
And
feel.
I
And
saw,
I still see the Mueller thing being a big deal too.
oh,
This
the
is what I told people years ago, and I want you to know, if I die in the next 6 months, be sure to remind everybody that Linda said, because if I die, listen, the first person I'm going to hit up and spook is Trump. The one thing Linda said was that he will be found out to have been an illegitimate president. I've always seen that.
me too. And the Mueller report, as we've said many, many times, is not,
People said, oh, it was nothing. No, it wasn't nothing.
oh, there's a lot coming out about that.
Yeah, Barr had his foot on his throat.
And people are wanting to know what's going to happen to Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Oh,
the blonde bimbo, as I call her.
I don't see that Bo Bart or whatever her name is. I don't see her being reelected. In fact, I already heard her state is already upset with her. They already said they're not going to vote for her again.
No, they won't.
But what do you see about Green?
Well, I keep seeing her out of office. I mean, she comes from a very, very conservative part of Georgia. But I'm still seeing they're going to find some stuff on her that's not real savory.
It could be about that doing those tours. I'm telling you, that's why that guy Hawley is not talking or getting out there, because he had something to do with those congressional tours.
Well, exactly. And what I was going to say was I think that Senate House committee, I'm sorry, not the Senate, the House committee
that Pelosi started.
Right. They're going to overturn some stuff, and it's not going to look real good for Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Now, I feel, I mean, the diehards will like her, but there's not enough of them. So
there's not enough of them. And McCarthy needs to watch it because, he's going to try to put some Trumplicans on that committee, but, his position is very tenuous. Mm-hmm. And so, he wants to be Speaker of the House, but he's going to lose his power.
He's going to lose. I'm going to tell you, I don't feel that smirkness with the Republicans. Oh yeah, we got this, because I feel McConnell, and just remember, you heard it here. Well, a lot of psychics are saying this. I feel him losing big time in the Senate. Big time.
But Linda, you and I said a lot of this before their psychics even thought of it.
No, there's a lot of psychics that said it.
Honey, I was trying to give us a compliment.
Oh, okay. There's, I like
other psychics too. Don't.
Yeah. Well, my friend, can you believe it's been out nearly an hour?
This has been so much
fun. We had such a good time. So next time I'll be on your show.
Okay, good.
Okay, so
we'll talk afterwards, and
you'll send me the link. Yeah.
I just love it. It's been wonderful, and everybody watch Linda Grindal.
Oh, you guys, everybody rocks. I'm past 45,000 now.
I know. Congratulations.
So cool. It's so cool.
And the next one we do, I'll announce the winner, because when I said I got to over 11,000 subscribers, I'm 11,100. Thanks to you. I owe it all.
Wow.
that I would announce a free winner. And so the next show we do, I'll announce it. So
Yeah, that's great. I'm 45,100 subscribers.
I got a question. Why is it when I look on other people's YouTube channels, you don't see their subscribers? Can you hide that? Or
Oh, you can hide it.
you know what? I don't
Now
want to
you
hide
can kind of tell what type of subscribers they have though sometimes.
probably by how many people view it,
How
right?
many people view? Yeah,
There-
so I get 30, 43,000, 35,000, 50,000.
Well, Linda, I'm still your biggest fan. So
Oh, thank you, honey. Well, I'm just honored to be here, let me tell you.
me too. I'm
And I
on.
gotta plug that book out because my guys have been on me. I don't know how long I'm gonna live. Everybody says I'm
Oh,
gonna live.
you're going to be older than a bag of dirt.
I hope so. I hope so. I want to live long, but
Well, I
I'm
think
almost
it's one
scared
thing-
to finish the book because I think once it's done, they're gonna say, okay, time to go.
No, then you can say this book's not done because then I got to write the next chapters. You
Oh,
know?
in fact, some psychics have seen me write 2 books, so maybe I'm
I
supposed
could-
to write 2
no,
books.
actually, I see probably 3.
Oh, God, I have nothing to talk about it.
No, you'll see.
Okay, honey.
All right.
Tell your happy
By
eyes
the way,
hi.
you've got a long life and you'll be active and alert.
Okay. All right, baby.
All
You
right.
take care.
Namaste.
Bye, everyone.